Hey, there we are on Brunch with Brian. Good morning, everybody. Great to see you this morning on Monday. It's almost Fresh Start Monday because we're so close to the beginning of the month. So we actually have one day. So let's start thinking about our next month. It's May. May is coming up. So it's going to be May Day tomorrow. Make your plans for May. So today is the day, Monday, make your plans for May Day. Okay. And so pick it all starts with your KPIs, your key performance indicators, and that's just your 20 phone calls a week. Now, if you want to extend those out, sometimes I will say I would love it if you would did 2 to 4 deal meetings per month. 2 to 4 deal meetings per month, 20 calls per week. And, I don't want to complicate it that much more than that. Now, you can say, well, how many opening calls and how many closing calls? I just want you on the phone. And if you could do a lot more calls than 20, that's great. And if you have someone else doing your opening calls and you're just doing closing calls, that's probably more effective if you're doing 20 closing calls and no opening calls. But somebody's got to do opening calls. That's a really good marketing method, is to reach out and do straight up opening calls. Today is International Dance Day, and it's also World Wish Day. So I was going to talk about motivation. So what motivates you? That's a big. Every one of us has a duty to kind of figure out what motivates us, and then use it. Whatever it is that motivates us. So whatever you need to think about in your brain to get you into action, that's what you need to think about. What's the best thing? What's the best way you get into action? What's the best thing that motivates you? Now, some of us use competitive urges for motivation. I happen to be kind of a competitive person. It can be a blessing and a curse for sure. I mean, you don't want to be a bad sport at pickleball or tip over the Monopoly board, and be too competitive. But you do want to be spurred into action. Now, it's not even competitive with other people, but being competitive with yourself, doing better each year than you did last year. So if you did 2 deals last year, let's do 5 deals this year or 10 deals this year. So always improving, always beating yourself, doing a little better than you did last month, or last year. So being competitive, I find that's much more useful sometimes than being competitive with others. Although being competitive with other people can be for sure motivating. It can get your engine running when you say, well, we both went to the same event. We both started at that time or whatever, or we both been doing this a while. I want to do more deals than that guy or that girl. And I don't know about that. For me, it's all for one and one for all. So I don't usually compare that way. But if it motivates you to say, why is that person getting deals and I'm not? I need to focus a little bit better. I need to get better at my closing calls. I need to get better at my marketing. I need to be better at tracking. You got to, if you're seeing someone do better than you, that can be a spur that can definitely motivate you to put more effort in, put more focus in. What's going to be the result? What does it take? It just takes sticking to the scripts and sticking to the steps and sticking to your schedule. So there's not a big, huge mystery about how to be successful at this. It's putting in the time and making the calls. If you're making 20 calls a week, that's a really good basic KPI, and that's going to carry you to success. That's 80 calls a month devoted to your real estate business. And as you get better at it, and you can't make 80 calls in a month and not be a lot better the next month. And again, and you're kind of refining your knowledge and making further distinctions. Oh, well, that's not a real good source for leads. I called, 20 sellers from those leads, and none of them were any good. So let me do this. Let me try landlords now. Let me try calling some property managers. Let me try searching for do some driving for dollars, find some distressed properties, or use a computer program to do searches for the best properties. Get on Zillow. I mean, all these things are what you need to focus on to find deals and to do deals. And it's just a matter of putting that focus where it belongs and whatever it takes. Now, competitiveness is one way, but really one thing that super motivates me now that I didn't know if it would was having a grandbaby. Okay, so we had a grandbaby in December, and I was over there on Saturday and just playing with her. And she's like, how old is she? She's like 5 months old now. And she's just absolutely totally adorable. And she just melts my heart. And she makes me want to be a better man. That's funny. There's a really good line in a movie called As Good as It Gets, where Jack Nicholson says to Helen Hunt, you make me want to be a better man. And that's like the best compliment he could possibly think of. And she's very struck by that compliment. So, yes, find things that make you want to be a better man or make you want to be a better woman. And, be around those people and those things. So get motivated wherever you can find it and focus on your KPIs. Okay. So our chant for today is I find my motivation. Okay. I find my motivation 3 times on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I find my motivation. I find my motivation. I find my motivation. Absolutely. So where would you rank your motivation level right now? Would you say, on a scale of 1 to 100, and the most motivated you've ever been in your entire life was 100, so think of the time that you were the most motivated to take action and say, okay, that's 100. Now, where am I? And totally not trying is 0. So are you at, 70% motivation, 80% motivation? Let's just get that motivation up a little bit. Okay. You don't have to be you can't live at 100% motivation. You can't survive at that. Lynette is pretty motivated. She's at a high level. She's very enthusiastic, but you can't live at 100 all the time. So let's find a nice, 75, 80, 85, where you're getting your things done, where you're pretty darn motivated, where you're focusing. Guys, another great way to build up your motivation is through desire. And desire, how do you focus on your desire? How do you build desire? Visualization. So one of the best techniques for building your motivation is visualizing a great future and believing that future is going to happen and seeing yourself doing whatever it takes to make that happen. So that's a whole visualization is a really awesome technique that everybody should be using. Everybody should have a vision board. Everybody should be looking at their goals. Good morning. Charles was on early. Memo 2, Massive Action Day. Yes, it's always Massive Action Day. Good morning, folks. Thank you, Caleb. Isabel, good morning. Watching the last 2 weeks of Brunch with Brian. Guys, all those Brunch with Brians we do are all on, you could go back on our Facebook page or you can go on the YouTube and just watch them all. There's a lot of other incredible training on our YouTube channel, by the way. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't yet. And there is some great information on there. There's things called Wolf Bite Wednesdays. There's about 80 of them that I used to do every Wednesday, and that's an incredible amount of information. One of our students binge watched all 80 of them and just really got motivated. So that's a good way. That's another way to get motivated, right? Oh, last organized day. Last week we talked about getting organized. So pick the days that are helpful. Michael, hey, great to see you, and great to see you making a comment. I love it when you guys comment and let me know you're there. Motivation is the outflow of organization. That's a nice quote. Greetings from Colorado. Noel and Kathy are with us today. Isabel. Hi, Caleb. Yes, getting the crosstalk going. I love it. Morning, guys. Morning, Lacey. I always tell her, Lacey, how her profile picture is so cute. Yes, I need to hear this. Big smile. Yes. Isabel, I'm knowing others are doing okay. Yes. And see, that's the thing. When you're doing that comparing thing, that's why when I talk about competitiveness, I really don't recommend comparing. In fact, I try to stay away from comparing, criticizing, or complaining. That's the 3 C's that we try to stay away from. Comparing, criticizing, complaining. Those are mental rabbit holes. They're emotional rabbit holes, and you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So let's not really compare with others so much as just comparing with doing better than we can do. When we know what we can do, you know what you're capable of. So just compete with yourself and push yourself a little bit to do better each month. But yeah, I don't want you guys comparing yourself to each other, because that's not healthy for anybody is comparing too much. There's zero reason none of you should be doing Facebook and Instagram stories. Keep in mind to let people know you buy houses. Yes. Oh, that's a really good tip, guys. Are you listening? Caleb made a good tip. You have stories on Facebook and Instagram that you can put in there, and that will get you more social media. Okay, social media. Yes, thank you, by the way. And I have a grandchild, 5 months old. Oh, see, now that's a real source of motivation. Wow, she must have been born right around the same time. So that's really cool in December. That's really nice. Grandchildren are very motivating. Andrew, hey, awesome. Thank you for commenting. Hey, Brian. And Scott Burton, 70 what? What does Scott want to do? 70 calls a week? There you go. That'd be a really good goal, right? That'd be, oh, you're at 70 motivation level. That's right. So you're finding your motivation level, 1 to 100. You're at 70. That's not bad. You know, you could crank it up. And guys, this is something where you turn it up at certain times. Like when you're getting ready to make your phone calls, do a bunch of affirmations. That's the other thing. Don't forget affirmations. Those are that's the simplest techniques, affirmations and visualization. Visualizing oh, I'm driving my dream car and living in my dream house and buying all these houses and I've got a big portfolio and all that. And then also just saying affirmations like, I am a real estate winner. I am a real estate winner. That's one we always like. So just having a positive affirmation right before you get on the phone can definitely raise your motivation level. Okay. Yeah, guys, social media is a challenge for us older folks. And so Caleb he's our young man on the team. He's like 20 something. What are you, Caleb? 24 or 5? Something like that. So Caleb is probably the best on social media. So maybe you go look at Caleb's social medias and see what he's doing. That would be a good thing. Caleb's going to be our good role model for putting stories. So check out Caleb's Instagram and his Facebook and see what he's doing with stories. Okay. Do you have a sample business card? Yeah, I have a really good sample business card. You guys who have the what to say and what to do system, I think it's in your back office. But you know what? If you send me an email, I'll send it to you, Noel and Kathy. So send me an email. Anytime you guys need help, send an email to support@thewolfcouple.com. support@thewolfcouple.com. You can call and talk to someone in the office or leave a message at 888-RICH-NOW. 888-RICH-NOW anytime if you want to talk. Fake till you make it. Yeah. I watched this past, Wolf Bites. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So you watch some of those Wolf Bites. Those are really fun. Isabel. All right. Yeah. Caleb's given Isabel some good encouragement this morning. Oh, no. Now he's asking questions. What motivated me in my early days? You know what? I had high expectations. And I had high expectations of myself since I was a little kid. And I always thought somehow, because I'm a smart kid, I'm going to figure out a way to get rich. It took way longer than I thought. It's harder to figure out how to get rich than I thought it was. And it's harder to get the right systems in place and really get it all figured out. But eventually, when I really started to understand seller financing, subject to deals, and creative financing deals a lot better, and that supplemented what we were already doing, that's when we really started to get it going. But what motivated me was I hated my last job, okay, and I had to replace the income. So I had a pretty big income. I was a manager of a mortgage office downtown for AmeriQuest Mortgage. Although I was making a lot of money, it was the worst job I ever had. And I had to replace that income, and I knew I needed to get focused. So I guess that's what motivated me. I wanted to quit that job, but the only way I could really do it was really succeed at this. So I was a little bit under the gun. I quit that job without really having anything to replace it with, and I hadn't done my first deal yet. So I actually quit that job and hired, that was another source of motivation. I hired an assistant. I paid her, it's not the same these days, but at the time I paid her $10 an hour, and she was working. I actually brought her in for full time. I think back about that, and I hired her, and I didn't get my first deal for a couple of months, but having her there for 40 hours a week, I was paying her $400 a week. something had to happen. I mean, she needed something to do. And so that was obviously motivating because, otherwise she was going to get fired if I couldn't figure out how to make some money at this. So that was another thing. And so I really went all in though. I mean, I dived in and I was totally motivated. WL, good morning. Great to see you here. WL used to be here all the time. Pre-foreclosures. Okay, you know what? Let me touch on pre-foreclosures this week because there is a pre-foreclosure market cooking out. High or great expectations. Yes, set your expectations high, shoot for the moon, and even if you don't hit it, you'll still be up there in the clouds. Your neighbor. Okay, your neighbor was rich, if I remember correctly. Yes, that's right. We had a rich neighbor when I was a kid growing up, and he was rich in real estate. That's how he made all of his money. And I thought, somehow I thought that that's just how the logical progression of life was. You had a regular job. This is what he did. He was my role model for this. That's a really good point, Lacey. I had a good role model in addition to my levels of motivation. Otherwise, I probably never would have got in it because I had this role model who was our next door neighbor, really a great guy. And he was really high up in Sperry, Univac. Actually, it was called Univac back then. So he was an engineer. He was really a salesman more. And he was really good. He was up at the top 3 and he didn't want to keep doing it. And so he said, I'm going to quit and do real estate. And so he was like my role model. He was about 50 years old when he quit and he just started making a lot of money in real estate. So yeah, he was my person that was my role model to get there. So Scott, hey, great. Just working on feeling better every day. That's awesome. I totally am on board with that. And I think every one of us needs mental wellness, and being on Brunch with Brian is definitely great for that because we're going to be real positive. Okay. All right. So, okay. So guys, I will be talking to you. Shoot me an email. I'll get you the business card or whatever you need. If you let me know what you need, and I will be talking to you guys tomorrow. Did we do an affirmation already? Because you guys had so many great questions. Our affirmation for today is, I am motivated. I am super motivated. Let's do that. I am super motivated 3 times. Ready? 3 times on 3. 1, 2, 3. I am super motivated. I am super motivated. I am super motivated. And that's something that you turn on and off. You can't, like I said, you can't run at 100 all day, but you can turn it up when you're making your calls. Okay, we always like to do 3 deep breaths. Nice deep breath in. And a big smile. Trust me on this. Gets your day started or invigorated. Deep breath in, real deep, and with a big smile, and let it out. And one more big one. Feels so good, and then let it out and relax your shoulders and your neck. All right, awesome day, guys. Let's have a great day today. Let's stay motivated, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same Wolf time, same Wolf channel. Okay, and stay in touch with each other and do something motivating. So I'll see you tomorrow. Until I do, expect success, get great training from the Wolf Couple, and take action.